Hi everyone, welcome to Lay's Real Talk. It's Lay's Saturday Night Live. Welcome. Well, I've been covering quite a number of serious topics like the PLA's weaknesses, the CCP's politics, um, geopolitics. But you know what? Tonight, I hope you allow me to gossip a little bit. um, Okay, so I feel like I need to cover a somewhat lighthearted topic for tonight because it's Saturday night. Um, so let's gossip a little about who China's number one real princess is. You may think it's Xi Jinping's daughter, but not really. It may be Huawei's founder Ren Zhengfei's daughter, the woman that has caused a drama, a diplomatic drama between China, Canada, and the US a few years ago. So, the Chinese tech giant Huawei has long been the subject of global scrutiny and speculation, um, particularly regarding its connections to the Chinese government and military. Its biggest secret, however, may not be technical, but rather its founder's daughter, um, Meng Wanzhou, or Sabrina. I think she calls herself Sabrina Meng. Yeah, Sabrina Meng. Um, so we know after 3 years of she was detained in Vancouver in 2018, and after 3 years of bitter war between China, U.S., and Canada, she was released in September 2021. Xi Jinping sent a chartered plane to pick her up. Her true identity may be Huawei's biggest secret. Now, she's widely called China's Red Princess, but if you think about it, she should be called Huawei's Princess. Um, but why is she called China's Princess? Now, the reason I decided to do this topic is yesterday, uh, a shocking news concerning Miss Meng's, Sabrina Meng, uh, was released by two pro democracy activists. They're also active on social media like X and in YouTube, and they said, I don't think the two are related. So they're basically two individuals saying the same thing. They revealed that Huawei's CFO and deputy chairwoman of the board, Meng Wanzhou, or Sabrina Meng, has been removed from all positions at Huawei and is being investigated. Neither of them revealed their sources. One said that the order has been sent to Huawei organizations, um, and others suspect that her investigation may be related to Beijing's desire to send a strong signal, to send a signal of cooperation to the upcoming Trump administration. Now, she is the daughter of Huawei's founder. She's the daughter of Huawei's founder, Ren Zhengfei. It's a mouthful to say. So that's the father. He's the founder, and here's Miss Meng herself. I think this was in Canada during the legal battles. So now this is a big news. If she was indeed, or if she is indeed removed from all positions at Huawei, it's tremendous news because of who she is. So now we know that she was arrested, not arrested, detained. She was detained during the Trump administration in December 2018, on allegations that of her role in the she was detained by the Canadian police at the request of the U.S. government, which sought her extradition on charges of violating U.S. sanctions on Iran, and also allegations of fraud. And To retaliate, Beijing arrested 2 Canadian Michaels, and this started the war, right, between the three countries. Now, during the Biden administration, Meng entered what they call a DPA, a deferred prosecution agreement with the U.S. Department of Justice. She admitted to certain facts but did not plead guilty, and the U.S. agreed to drop charges, and she was freed. And then as soon as she returned to China, the two detained Canadians, the 2 Michaels, were released as well shortly after. Now, so the rumor, I'll just tell you the rumor. The rumor is that she is not really Huawei founder's daughter. She is the daughter of Mao Zedong and one of his youngest mistresses. So let me start by telling you a little bit about Ren Zhengfei and his wife, right? So here we go. Okay. Not used to gossiping, but this is a very well substantiated gossiping. So, all right. So Ren Zhengfei, Huawei's founder, was born in 1944 in a small village in Guizhou. At the time, his parents had 7 children, so he was born into this big family, and both his parents were school teachers. I think his father was a principal of an elementary school, but the family was poor. They suffered. I think his parents were saving food for him because he had the potential to go to school. So he endured. I mean, the family went through hunger and extreme poverty for him to be able to continue to go to college. So in 1963, he enrolled in the Chongqing Institute of Civil Engineering and Architecture. But then Cultural Revolution erupted in 1966. Classes were suspended during that time and were replaced by revolutionary activities. So Ren joined the military as a construction engineer soldier in the infrastructure corps. So at the time, it was said that a local government official whose name is Meng Dongbo, who was the head of the Sichuan Department of Infrastructure Bureau, or something like that. He was a local official. He later became a deputy governor, I think is it Hubei or Sichuan? But he was a deputy governor of one of the provinces. And so his father-in-law was impressed. It was said, this is public information, his father-in-law was impressed by the capable young military leader and introduced his beautiful daughter to him and encouraged marriage. Ren said in public, this is on records, Ren said that when he was introduced to his wife, his first wife, he was overwhelmed. It was unexpected. He was overwhelmed by the unexpected attention because he was a nobody and poor, and his wife or ex-wife or future wife was like a princess. Came from an established family, was beautiful, and his father was an important figure, and was like a princess. So he couldn't have dreamt it. So according to public records, his first wife's name is Meng Jinyun, as you could see in this picture. What's odd is that there's very little information about her, nor could we find a picture of her except this one. This is the only picture I could find that's her. Now, Meng Wanzhou, the CFO of let's just call her let's just call her Sabrina Meng, okay, the Huawei's CFO. So she talks a lot about her father, but she never mentions her mother. That's strange. And this woman is extremely low-key. You don't see her pictures. You don't know where she is now. She just disappeared from the public. Um, and there has been persistent rumor that Sabrina's mother is actually Mao Zedong's last mistress, Meng Jinyun, and that Sabrina isn't Ren Zhengfei's daughter. Instead, she's the daughter of Mao and Meng. So now let's talk about another woman. Let's talk about another woman. So where's, I don't know. I'll show you. Yeah, look how strikingly similar they look. Where is the picture? Okay, here we go. Here's Miss Meng Jinyun and Mao during his final years. He looked very old and frail. And she's a young, beautiful 20, I think in this picture, she may be 26 or, I don't know, 26, 27. When he died, she was 28. Anyways, so Meng Jinyun is, many people didn't know about her until recent years. If you check the newspaper from September 13th, 1976, you would find that her name was the last on a list of individuals who guarded Mao's body after his death. But she is said one of the two mistresses or one of the two women that he trusted in his last few years. And he almost, he did not see anyone except, I mean, anyone want to see him would have to go through these two women. So she was one of them. And Mao's last final words were addressed to her, which was that he said, I feel unwell, call the doctor. That was his final words, and was said to Miss Meng. And now, when Mao died, Meng was only 28. But she had served Mao since she was 15. She was born in 1948 in Wuhan and had a natural talent for dancing and was admitted to the Air Force art troupe or performing arts troupe at age 12. At 15, she was chosen to undertake, quote, special assignments in Zhongnanhai, which involved dancing with senior leaders. Yeah, Mao, where is the dancing pictures? Oh, here we go. So Mao loved ballroom dancing and had dance parties twice every week. It was said it's on Wednesdays and Saturdays. Even during the crazy days of Cultural Revolution, such dance parties continued. So dance partners for these officials were required to go through strict vetting, political and personal vetting. And members of military art troops, like the Air Force Song and Dance Troupe, were considered ideal candidates as they had already passed vigorous political and personal reviews. And it was said that some of the young girls wanted to go to Zhongnanhai only for food, for the good food served there, because these people they're young. I mean, they're teenagers. So according to Dr. Li Zhisui, Mao's personal physician, who wrote a book, a 600-page book about Mao's private life, these dance parties served as a place for Mao's sexual entertainment. It was said that there's a special sloping bed that was designed for him in a room next to the dance hall. Now, Miss Meng was one such girl sent to Zhongnanhai in 1963 when she was only 15. And a few years later, during the Cultural Revolution, she and another girl got into trouble for their comments. The other girl's name is Chen Huiming, who later changed her name to Chen Luwen. Miss Chen is more widely known because she accepted interviews in Hong Kong or by Hong Kong press many years later, and she gave the reason why they got into trouble. She said, "We didn't understand politics and just followed along and we complained. And she said, together with Meng Jinyun, the other girl, we criticized Chairman Mao, saying that Mao was like an emperor with his imperial, what do you call that? That's word, harem. She said, we question our roles. These girls said, if we were concubines, like, in the old imperial court, we'd be officially titled. If we are prostitutes, we'd be paid. Or if we're dance partners, we'd have fun. But we have nothing. These conversations were overheard by a manager of the art troupe who immediately reported the girls to Mao. And after hearing the comments, Mao simply responded, nonsense. So the two girls were immediately arrested and labeled as active counter-revolutionaries. They were sent away for re-education for a number of years. However, Miss Meng apparently, wanted to return to Zhongnanhai. And so she made an appeal to Mao, and Mao took her back. And so she returned, and she became his very loyal personal attendant and nurse, and accompanied him during his final years. It was said that she spent like 480 days and nights consecutively, with him, looking after him. So here's the question. Do you think the two women, one is Ren Zhengfei's ex-wife and one is Mao's mistress, do you think, well, the two women have the same age. They're about the same age. They have the same last name, right? The question is, are they the same woman? That's the ultimate question. And there are 5 reasons that people argue that they are. And the very first argument is, I'll show you they look alike. Now, where does that? Take a look at, on the left is Sabrina Meng, and on the right is Mao. And people say they look strikingly alike. They're just Mao's picture through different stages in his life. They just look, I was shocked when I saw the pictures, right? So that's the first argument, was that they look tremendously alike. And the second argument that people say the two women are the same, are essentially the same woman. The second argument is the personality similarities. Now, Meng Wanzhou, or Sabrina Meng, or Huawei's CFO, once wrote about her learning difficulties, or her difficulties in learning math. She said that learning math was very difficult for her, and she struggled even with simple addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. Interestingly, Mao Zedong, despite his brilliance in literary expression and revolutionary philosophy, also scored 0 in mathematics. He's terrible at math. So there's such a striking similarity. And Ms. Meng mentioned in her writing that as a child, learning arithmetic was very challenging for her. And in middle school, she was at the bottom of her class in math. Now, considering how highly skilled her father is, or her alleged father is, right? He is a great engineer. He's very good at science and engineering. So how could his daughter struggle so much with math? It seems that the genetic factors didn't play a role in this regard, unless, of course, it's a different set of genetic factors at play here. And the other striking similarity is Mao married 4 times. Sabrina Meng also married 4 times. All right, so that's argument number 2. Argument number 3 is the name. Now, Sabrina adopted her mother's last name, Meng, and not her father's Ren, right? Her younger brother, adopted her father's last name, Ren. And not only that, her name is very interesting because her name, if you those of you who know Chinese, is Wanzhou, meaning like an evening boat, right? It's like an evening boat, a boat at night. Or it could mean, I mean, it's very poetic, it's beautiful, but it means the last boat or a drifting boat at a very late state, late at night. So now Ren Zhengfei was only 28 when Sabrina was born. Her mother would be probably the same age or younger. It was their first child. So why would you name your kid like a evening boat? Because anything in Chinese culture, evening indicates like the later phase of your life, right? One. So it doesn't make sense. And also, she was born during those, in 1972, it was during the Cultural Revolution time. Such a poetic name. It wasn't fitting for that time. So unless her name was given by someone who had a baby at the very late stage in his life, right? It's very fitting. So now when Meng Wanzhou was born, Mao was 78 years old. So her name is also very, I mean, as a young couple, your first child, I mean, you would name her like evening boat, a late boat. And then argument number 4 is October 27th. And this one is also very compelling. Yeah. The Wall Street Journal had an article titled Inside, it was a long article. It gave the detailed account of how Meng was detained, and also after 3 years of intense diplomatic efforts by China involving Xi Jinping personally, she was released. And the title is called Inside the Secret Prisoner Swap that Splintered the US and China. Now, in this article, it was said that when Donald Trump heard from his national security advisor at the time, which was John Bolton, that Canada had arrested Huawei's CFO on behalf of US prosecutors, Trump was surprised, and he said, "Don't you know she is the Ivanka of China, Ivanka Trump of China?" Now, what does Ivanka Trump of China mean? That's the first daughter, or the #1 princess of China. There's no way Huawei's founder's daughter is the first daughter of China. The first daughter of China should be, at the time, Xi Jinping's daughter, right? So what does that mean? So, and this is from the Wall Street Journal, so it must be credible. I mean, so that it means that the Americans know that who Sabrina Meng is. She's obviously not Xi Jinping's daughter. She's not, so it confirms indirectly that she is the daughter of Mao Zedong. The article also said that Xi Jinping had personally written over 100 notes to give instructions on her release. Now, I don't think Xi Jinping would spend that much time and effort if the daughter of a vice premier or the daughter of a Politburo member was detained in Canada or the US. I mean, no, I don't think so. He may probably tell somebody, you need to make sure she's released, but he is not going to write over 100 notes personally. So why was he so worried about the daughter of the founder of Huawei? So argument number 5 is the amount of attention Xi Jinping gave to Meng's detention was unprecedented, right? And also, if you look at, as soon as she was detained in Canada, the Chinese Foreign Ministry gave Xi Jinping a list of 10 Canadians in China who the CCP was considering detaining, to retaliate. And Xi Jinping personally picked the 2 Michaels. And it was reported that China spent, the above was reported by the Wall Street Journal, and the Chinese media or I read it in the Chinese media, that China spent $2 billion on rescuing Miss Meng. And when she was released, Xi Jinping sent a chartered plane to Canada to pick her up. Where's the picture? Oh yeah, here's the from the Wall Street Journal article. Where is the oh yeah, here's her grand arrival in Shenzhen in September 2021 when she returned to China. I mean, the CCP gave her a red carpet, a welcoming crowd. She gave a speech. I mean, look at the crowd inside. I mean, she was treated like a head of state. She was truly treated as a princess, returning to China. And also, her plane didn't, I think they rerouted. They flew over, they avoided Alaska, I think. So they just went of their way to welcome her, to bring her home. So for the 5 above reasons, many people believe that Ren Zhengfei's ex-wife, Meng Jun, is indeed Mao's mistress, Meng Jinyun. And even if you look at the names, if you look at their names, where's the names? Did I do a name? Oh, what happened to the names? If you know Pinyin, what happened to the names? Oh, here we go. Yeah. If you look at the name Meng Jinyun, and then if you take the first character, and then the last part of the character is Meng Jun, right? If you abbreviate Jinyun, it's Jun. So it's essentially the same name. And then I put this picture together. So on the left is Mao's mistress, of course, when she was in her 20s. On the right is Sabrina Meng's mother, or Ren Zhengfei's ex-wife. Do they look alike? I mean, one is in her 40s or 50s, and one is in her 20s. Do you think it's the same person? I think they look very much like the same person to me. Of course, I have to be objective. Now, there are also people who argue against that claim, and they primarily have 3 reasons. And the first is that when Sabrina was born in February 1972, Mao was 78 and his mistress was 24. They say that at that age, they question if Mao was still able to impregnate a woman. So they questioned that he still had the ability. That's the first argument. And the second argument is they say that Miss Meng was sent away to be re-educated for 5 years from 1967 to 1972 because of that comment that they were making together. She was making with her friend. Actually, it was her friend making the comment, but she was part of the conversation, so she was in trouble as well. So they say that, well, she was away from Mao, so they couldn't be having a child together in 1971 because she gave birth in February of 1972. And then the third argument is, according to her friend who told Hong Kong media about how they got themselves into trouble, she said that that Meng didn't came from an affluent family. And actually, most people know that these girls that were sent to Zhongnanhai to dance with the CCP leaders usually came from poor families, or came from, they're not from prominent, they're not from, CCP leaders' family or prominent families. So, and her friend actually commented that she came from a very ordinary family. So her father couldn't have been the governor, the deputy governor of a province. So that contradicts with the fact that Ren's father-in-law was a provincial leader. So these are the arguments from people who don't believe it. Now, I think number 3 is somewhat weak because Mao was eager to marry off these young women So these young women were married at the time they were serving him. I mean, not when they were 15, but when they were in their 20s, they got married. So it's possible that in order to help find her a good husband or a suitable husband, the CCP arranged for a local official to quote unquote adopt her as his child, as his daughter, so that she appears to be the daughter of an official, so that they could help her find a good husband or someone that's suitable, right? If she's truly nobody, then it's hard. So this would give her the status to marry someone. Um, so if you really look at it, Ren Zhengfei was 28 years old when Sabrina was born, and his role was pretty much to raise the kid as his own, so that there's no question about her true identity. Um, so why is Huawei so special? I don't know. I'm just presenting you the arguments from both sides, so you can decide for yourself, which opinion you're gonna lean towards. Now about the two arguments back, sorry, the second one about her being sent away for 5 years and not in Beijing, I think we don't know, because 5 years is a long time, and she was never resentful about her life and experience in Zhongnanhai. The fact that she wrote, she really, really wanted to go back, and she ended up going back, and really, was very devoted to taking care of Mao. Tells me that she was not upset with what happened to her in Beijing. So so it wasn't like she was upset, she left, and then somehow she went back. So there's an inconsistency there. So the comment was made by her friend, and she was part of the conversation, but she was implicated and was sent away. But she was very miserable being away, and she wanted to go back. So it's possible that during those 5 years, they smuggle her back to Mao's residence. So who knows? We don't know what really happened during those 5 years. But one thing we know was she was not upset with. I mean, I think she missed being with him, to some extent. So we don't know. That's all I can say. But just to summarize, why is Huawei so special to the CCP? I think it's highly possible that its founder helped cover up the dirty laundry of CCP leader, right? And help them cover up and help raise his kid. And he has more than likely married Mao's youngest mistress. And that's why his daughter, Meng Wanzhou, is the #1 princess in China, because who her father really is. And that's why, she was called the Ivanka of China. So going back to the claim that Ms. Meng is indeed removed from all her positions at Huawei. I mean, I heard that yesterday. This hasn't anything come out to confirm that. But it should be interesting to keep an eye on that. If she is, I think Xi Jinping is making a bold statement. It's a conciliatory gesture to the upcoming new administration. They may want to send a signal to the Trump administration to back down, because the CCP loves doing this kind of maneuver, political messaging maneuver. I mean, Americans would just, communicate in a face-to-face meeting, but the CCP, being so manipulative, they like to, do this kind of thing to let you figure out what they're trying to do. I think they're trying to send a message to Washington by saying that she's removed from the position and is undergoing investigation. But in reality, that may not be the case. I don't think they're going to do much to investigate her. I mean, they're just going to ask her to retire from Huawei for a number of years. But the whole point of this is to send out a message or even send out a rumor, because send out a rumor sometimes is more credible than in the CCP rumor mill. It's more credible and legitimate than CCP's own media saying it, because people don't believe in CCP's own media. So that's why, there are certain social media influencers being fed with this information. It may be true to some extent, but it doesn't mean she's in trouble or she's going to be investigated. I think it was a publicity stunt that the CCP engineered to send a message to the new administration in Washington. So that's all. It's a juicy story, and I hope this is interesting and helpful. I had known about this for some time, but I don't think this is anything substantial or something that we should spend time on until I saw the claim that she is investigated. She's being investigated and removed from Huawei. Then I realized this topic deserves. I mean, this juicy topic deserves an episode or a live stream from Lei. All right, so that's all. Let's see. Have I bored you with all these juicy details of CCP leaders' private life? All right, let's see. Any questions for me? Mao. Okay, Clan Lagan. Fun facial AI recognition on those. Oh no, these are not AI. These pictures have existed for a long time. They're pre-AI time. These are old blurry pictures. I mean, I'm talking about the pictures that I found. They're not AI. They're pre-AI age. So they're not AI. Okay, let's see. She looks like a flight attendant. I should do a survey. Do you think she is Mao's child or not? I don't have a survey, but do one if you think she is, and no, and two if you don't think she's Mao's daughter. So let's see what people think. Mark Pollard. Re-education may have been sorry, it disappeared. May have been a cover-up to deliver a child as well as raise her for a few years before coming back to attend to Mao. Good point. Yeah, re-education may have been a cover-up to deliver a child. That's exactly. I didn't even think of that, because a lot of people say those people have been defending Mao, and the other thing is this woman has disappeared. If you think about it, this woman, I mean, there are other personal attendants of Mao who have been active, who come out on Mao's anniversaries, and people know they are his mistresses. But this woman has disappeared. This woman and Sabrina Meng's mother both have disappeared. Isn't that weird? Not even a picture. Those two pictures were the only ones I could find on the internet. So where are they now? If they're two separate women, where are they now? Okay, Netflix foreign. I think they should have placed more bets on Xiaomi than Huawei. Xiaomi would have made a better face industry for China. Well, I think Xiaomi is more privately owned. I mean, Huawei has such a strong, the fact that I think Huawei from day one has this very strong SOE stamp. I mean, it's affiliated with the government and the military. So yeah, but then I think they would trust Huawei more, precisely because of who he is, right? But precisely because of who the founder is. I don't think they can control the founder of Xiaomi more than they can control Ren Zhengfei, or they wouldn't have as much trust um, in Xiaomi's founder than Huawei's founder. RK Jr., thank you, Lei. Oh, thank you. Jeff Ramos, she only uses iPhones? Who is she? She only uses iPhones? Who's she? 1, 1. Oh, wow. 3. 3 is unknown. 1. 2. I see more ones than 2. 1. 1. Okay. Moonwalker. Is Meng allowed back in Canada, or is she banned? No, I don't think she wants to go back to Canada at all. I don't think she wants to. No, she hasn't been back. Match face points. Clang Langham, match face points. You mean AI? I mean, we could do, there are people, I mean, they have people who feed 2 pictures of Sabrina Meng and Mao's picture. They feed 2 pictures and ask AI to analyze what percentage of resemblance. And sometimes it's 90%. But I've seen several pictures, it was like all over 70%. 70%, 80%, 90%. So they look like the same. I mean, of course, one is a woman, one is a man, and the age is different, but they look just strikingly similar. Okay, St. Louis. Did Canada's government not realize this before the Canadian government arrested her? I don't know. I think the US government may not even realize that. I mean, according to Wall Street Journal's report, I mean, Trump asked John Bolton, do you know that she's China's Ivanka? I don't know what his answer was. Maybe he did. Maybe he knew. Or maybe he didn't. Let's see. Questions. Squirrel AM. Yes, Lei, that's what your audience has been asking you about. About what? I'm sorry, I kind of get these comments in a disconnected manner. So about what though? Okay, sorry, I'm just Revo Lad. Lei, is that her real hairline? She even has Mao's haircut. No, I think, no, she has long hair, but her hairline looks so similar to Mao. Now, I think in recent years, she has done micro cosmetic surgeries. So her face look less similar, less like Mao now, if you look at her. I mean, she looks younger and her features more prominent. I mean, nowadays, these micro cosmetic surgeries could, do little touch up to change her facial features here and there to make her look younger. So she doesn't look as similar to him as she used to. That picture I showed you, looks just very similar. Yeah, you're right. The hairline is identical. Okay. Her big forehead, yeah, and hairline is all the evidence we need. Really? Okay, all right. I mean, the evidence is compelling. Hairline, her look, her lack of ability to learn math, and also Wall Street Journal's comment on, the Trump's comment on that, and also the amount of effort, how Xi Jinping went of his way to get her back. That's I mean, it's almost like his own daughter. The amount of effort. Could you imagine him writing over 100 notes, handwritten notes about her release? I mean, it's almost like, he's working on a case for his own daughter. So, all right. Her nose looks identical. All right. Jed, do you think Trump and Xi are good friends or simply admire each other? I don't think they're good friends. I don't think I mean, I think they tried. I think during the early years of Trump, I mean, he tried to, he tried, but then the COVID changed everything. I don't think they can be good friends now. No, that phase is over. Um, Mark Pollard, if she can do math and yet is the CFO of Huawei, then we should know there is some strange things going on. Yeah. Yep, you're right. She is the CFO of a high-tech company, and yet she is terrible at math. You go figure. All right. Use an Apple app to compare her facial features. You guys can do that. I uh, I I didn't do that. I think yeah, it's very similar. Okay. All right. Netflix foreign. I think they mean how common is a forehead like that in women. The math thing can be a disorder, as I knew a teacher who was rated very high IQ but terrible at high math. Okay, all right. I think that's all. And I hope this episode provides you some entertainment as well as information when it comes to evaluating Huawei. Huawei is in trouble right now, right? Didn't we hear that the US government discovered that Huawei is still able to get advanced chips from TSMC despite these sanctions? So I think, yeah, I think Xi Jinping may be reacting to that by leaking this rumor. All right. Okay, that's all for tonight. And I thank you for joining and enjoy the rest of your weekend. I'll see you next week. Bye-bye. Bye.